I went to confess my feelings to my secret crush, senior brother Oliver. I have something to tell you. I was extremely nervous. He asked, In my excitement, my face flushed, and I accidentally let out a fart. Boo tilde tilde. In the cramped room, only the sound of my excited fart could be heard. My infatuated face went from red to white, but he just laughed and comforted me, saying, "It's okay, it's a normal physiological phenomenon." I left in tears. "Get away. I want to die, don't stop me." "Chloe, it's okay. It's just a failed confession, right?" I looked at my best friend Mia with tears and snot. "Is this about failing a confession? It's like dying before even starting. A fart has ruined the hero's tears." "Wow, you're quite literary. Look at it from a different angle. Maybe he'll remember you forever." "Let's hope he forgets." I had planned this confession a month in advance, only for my grand, dramatic proposal to be ruined by a fart. "Let's go, let's drink," Mia said, draping her arm over my shoulder. I gave in to despair and shouted, "Screw it, let's go drink." I walked out with a dramatic stride despite my sadness. My name is Chloe. I'm a second-year graduate student in translation at the University of Western. To my family, classmates, and professors, I'm always the well-behaved, gentle, and dull bookworm. At school, I'm a model student, and my parents call me the daughter of someone else, but only I know what I'm truly like. Serious in public, wild and mischievous behind closed doors. I'm secretly in love with Oliver, the genius of our translation field. Oliver is a legend in interpreting. He's participated in international conferences, performed 4 hours of simultaneous interpretation without errors, achieved impressive results, and brought honor to the country. He's a young star. Oliver is strict with himself, but humble and polite with others. To pursue this distant flower, I've suppressed my true nature and presented myself as gentle, considerate, and cultured. With my active pretense, I finally earned Oliver's special attention. Look, I even managed to get a high cold male god to come out for a confession. But at the crucial moment, it was a social death. As I walked, I slapped Mia on the butt and teased her, "I'm feeling down today, so I'm not going to pretend anymore." Inside the bar, I took off my glasses and untied my hair, letting my curls fall to my shoulders. Going all out, I unbuttoned my shirt and tied the bottom into a bow, revealing my slim waist. I headed to the dance floor, indulgent night, here I come tilde. As I was dancing happily, I suddenly locked eyes with a familiar pair of eyes. Standing by the bar were 2 tall men, one of whom was wearing a white shirt. At that moment, he had his hand in his pocket, looking at me with a calm and indifferent expression, smiling like a clear breeze after the rain. Mia was dancing wildly with me. "What's wrong? Didn't you say you were sad? Why did you stop dancing? Let loose." I think I just saw senior brother, Oliver. The genius. There's no way he'd come to a bar. You must have seen it wrong." "No. Mia, I'd recognize him even if he turned to ashes." At that moment, I saw Oliver walking toward me. Inside, I was like, "Ah." I grabbed Mia. "Help me, sis. What the heck? It really is senior brother Oliver. How do I help?" To hide my face, I pulled Mia's head close and kissed her. All that was left was Mia's scream, and my mind was blank. I could only think, because of one fart, my image is completely ruined. I can't let my persona collapse any further. Oliver frowned as he looked at me. I stole glances at him, and he turned and walked away. I saw him whispering to the man beside him, and then glance at me. My heart was pounding. The whole evening was spent in guilt, swaying with Mia to avoid letting him see my face. Later, when Oliver left, I finally relaxed. Mia covered her mouth. "Wah wah wah, my purity has been ruined by you. I'll treat you to a late-night snack. 1 meal isn't enough. 1 month. Okay, deal." Mia and I left the bar, ending this indulgent and absurd night. The next day, with a hangover, I went to find my professor. In the hallway of the office, I ran into Oliver. Oliver seemed to be attending an event today, doing simultaneous interpretation. He was dressed in a black suit and tie, looking impeccably handsome. When he saw me, he gave a slight nod. Thinking about the date and the bar incident, my face turned red. I had originally walked with confident strides, but now I changed to small steps, looking down and smiling gently, calling out softly, "Senior brother Oliver." Oliver seemed surprised by my demure, more bookish appearance than usual. He paused for a moment. "Chloe." Oliver seemed to hesitate, his gaze complex. I thought, oh no, my fart must have ruined my image in his eyes. I cleared my throat and asked carefully, "Senior brother, is something wrong?" "Nothing." I adjusted my hair and said, "Well, the professor is still waiting for me. I have some materials to submit, so I'll go now." Oliver suddenly called out to me, "Chloe." My heart raced. He called my name. Senior brother is indeed special to me. The legendary genius actually remembered my name. Ah, his voice is so nice. My heart melted. "What are you thinking about?" Oliver asked, with a hint of a smile. My heart was racing and I got caught being unprepared. I shyly smiled and said, "I was thinking about how to write the assignment the professor gave, the one on application of translation quality assessment models." That's right." Oliver's voice was full of magnetism. "Help," my legs went weak again. Just as I was having a mental breakdown, Oliver spoke, "Chloe, you should focus on your studies now, and put your heart into daily practice." My heart sank, and all the excitement drained away. "Senior brother." Oliver looked at me with a hint of regret, "Get back on track soon, and focus less on romance." I thought, does he know I wanted to confess to him? Is he subtly advising me not to get my hopes up? Okay. Especially avoid going to strange places. He paused, "Be mindful of your behavior." So it turns out, my fart in that tiny room left an indelible impression on him. Woe is me, my image as a refined lady in Oliver's mind is completely ruined. My attitude was good, and Oliver was satisfied. Oliver nodded at me as a form of farewell. I had been secretly in love with Oliver for 4 years, and couldn't bear for it to end like this. He's my guiding light, my motivation in this field. I wanted to clarify things. "Senior brother." I gathered my courage to stop him. Oliver paused, close enough to touch, and looked down at me. "Chloe, is there something else?" I felt a bit aggrieved. "Senior brother, shouldn't a refined girl avoid farting?" He was taken aback, his ears turning a bit red. I quickly added, "I mean if I'm at a high-level conference, and can't hold it in, what should I do?" Oliver laughed, his ears glowing with a bright red hue. I saw him smile. This question. Oliver reached out as if to pat my head. In this sad moment, my heart inexplicably surged, and a voice inside me roared, "Pat me, Oliver, go ahead, pat me." Oliver seemed to remember something, and his hand stopped mid-air, retracting. He ultimately didn't pat my head. He smiled politely, "Chloe, farting is a natural human function." Oliver answered seriously, "When people eat, due to the normal bacteria in the digestive tract, more gas is produced. This gas moves down with intestinal contractions, and occasionally makes a sound when it's expelled. And then, farting is a sign of normal intestinal function. Not farting would be abnormal." Hearing this, my mouth moved faster than my brain. "What about you? Do you fart, Oliver?" "Yes." Hearing Oliver's answer, my heart bloomed with joy. So even the male god farts. My heart, bruised by lost love, found some comfort. "Thank you, senior brother," I said sincerely. As expected of a genius, Oliver's simple advice eased my embarrassment without me even realizing it. I felt a wave of relief and gave a broad, beaming smile. "Senior brother, good luck at the conference. You're the best. I'll go find the professor now." Go ahead." Oliver's eyes held a trace of unusual softness. I grinned widely and brightly, worried about collapsing my image, quickly clasped my hands together, slightly pursed my lips, and nodded to bid him farewell. I hurried off, and back in the dorm, Mia immediately jumped back 3 meters when she saw me. "Don't come near." I was too lovesick to pay her any mind. Mia scrutinized my flushed face. "Chloe, why is your face so red?" I cupped my face, blushing, and said, "I talked to Oliver this afternoon." "What?" "The genius." "What did you talk about? Did he recognize you from the bar last night?" I shook my head. "No, we talked about physiological phenomena." Mia looked at me in disbelief. You guys." I, filled with excitement, leaned in close to Mia. Mia, do you think senior brother doesn't mind that incident? Unexpectedly, before I could get close, Mia jumped away. Chloe, don't come so close. Let's keep our distance while talking. Indeed, she must have developed a psychological scar from me kissing her in the bar. I grinned slyly, my mind full of Oliver talking to me and saying so many things, feeling overjoyed. In the following days, I tried to run into Oliver wherever I could. Since he doesn't mind my embarrassing moment, it means I still have a chance. He just thinks I should focus on studying now. I restored my fighting spirit, but unfortunately, I couldn't find Oliver for a whole week. I heard that your senior brother Oliver has been assigned by the professor to go on an exchange. On the way to the second teaching building with Mia, I sighed upon hearing Mia's gossip. I see. Since I couldn't anticipate encountering Oliver, I had to find new fun. I suddenly looked at Mia. Mia, what are you going to do? I smiled and hugged her from behind. Mia screamed, and I laughed heartily. Do what? Of course, we'll do it when we get back to the dorm. I put on the air of a villain from a drama, looking mischievous. Suddenly, Mia stopped struggling. I followed Mia's gaze and froze. Oliver, in a white shirt, happened to walk out of the teaching building. Seeing me and Mia in such a close position, he slowly frowned. I quickly let go, my mind screaming, it's over. Senior brother, Chloe. Oh no, he didn't call me Chloe anymore. You misunderstood. We were just playing around. I'm not like this. Mia added fuel to the fire. Yes, we were just going back to the dorm. It's nothing like what you're thinking. The more we tried to explain, the worse it got. Oliver's gaze grew colder. I saw Oliver turn his gaze away, probably finding us uncomfortable to look at. After a moment, Oliver looked back at us and nodded. He asked me, have you finished the paper assigned by the professor? I stood there obediently. Yes, I have. Have you done your daily language skills and shorthand practice? Yes, every day I do shadowing, and I explained a lot, almost pouring out my heart. My heart was racing. Senior brother, I've remembered everything you said. Good. I finally breathed a sigh of relief, looking at Oliver's handsome face, feeling a bit regretful. Seeing how serious Oliver is, and how he witnessed my recent unprofessional side, I've probably lost the goodwill I previously gained. I slowly shuffled away like a groundhog. Senior brother, I need to go to class. Running away again. Heh. I brightened up and looked up at him. Oliver took a few steps closer, focusing intently on me, and said earnestly, I have high hopes for you. Don't disappoint me. My heart was screaming. Oliver has high hopes for me. Yes. Oliver looked at me helplessly, his eyes saying, clearly didn't understand. He suddenly smiled. All right, actually, there's something I wanted to tell you. Mia nudged me toward Oliver from behind. I almost stumbled into Oliver's arms, but fortunately, I managed to stop myself. Oliver's fresh scent enveloped me, and my cheeks flushed. Oliver's tone softened. The professor said your language skills are good, but you lack practical experience. I have a global medical summit coming up, and we need an assistant. Would you be interested in interning with me? I nodded vigorously. Yes. Good. Then it's settled. I quickly showed a standard smile. Thank you, senior brother. I bid Oliver a polite farewell, and when no one was around, I jumped up in excitement. Mia, senior brother asked me to be his assistant. Does this mean he's interested in me? Mia looked at me as if I were crazy. Chloe, the genius probably thinks you're not serious about your work, and is kindly giving you a chance. I don't care. He must have feelings for me. Though I usually joke around. For this international and highly academic conference, I was fully focused. I didn't want Oliver to see an unprofessional side of me, and I wouldn't let myself hold him back. During the preparation period for the conference, I worked quietly, staying up late every night with a dictionary. The time came, and I arrived at the venue with Oliver. The summit, with nearly 200 people, consisted of top figures from the domestic and international medical fields. Such conferences are high-end and specialized. At the end of the first day, Oliver nodded at me. He seemed to be in a good mood. You worked hard today. Let's have dinner together later. Sure. Thank you, senior brother. I maintained a serious facade, But inside I was ecstatic. I didn't help much today. Just watched you. I quickly corrected myself. I meant, you did a great job translating those technical terms for cell therapy and genetic testing. Let's hope so. He looked at me with a focused expression, making my legs go weak. You're amazing, senior brother. He had been highly tense for several hours, but at this moment, he was truly relaxed by my jokes. We had a meal together and then went to our separate rooms. Just before I entered my room, Oliver called out to me, "Senior brother, good luck tomorrow," he said. My eyes brightened. "Don't worry, senior brother, I'll definitely do my best." The next day's meeting was the Vaccine Development and Technology Innovation Summit. The organizers had unexpectedly invited a prominent foreign medical expert, a Nobel Prize laureate known for his profound speeches. Another interpreter's assistant looked distressed. Oliver asked her, "Do you lack confidence?" She remained silent, and Oliver then turned to me, "How about you?" Thinking about the hard work I had put in, I nodded. I'm okay." It turned out I was more than okay. I was outstanding. Before the forum started, my seat was moved from the edge to next to Oliver. As soon as it began, I went all out. Every time before Oliver spoke, I delivered the key phrases for translation to him, making him glance at me twice. Then a new complication arose towards the end of the meeting. The Nobel laureate started a 20-minute off-topic speech. Oliver wasn't a medical expert, so he needed to translate the obscure terms, and I was so nervous that my hands were shaking. "Senior brother, it's okay." With the situation urgent, I focused intently and gave it my all. I noticed several sets of keywords in the speech that I had actually prepared for. I quickly wrote them down and handed them to Oliver. Oliver, who was taking his own notes, glanced at me, then suddenly looked up. He noticed I was trembling. Oliver smiled. Then he held my hand. Oh my gosh, senior brother, what are you doing?" Oliver naturally squeezed my hand to reassure me before letting go. My heart had never raced like this before. I almost had a mental breakdown right there. Honestly, if there weren't so many people around, I would have jumped up and danced. After Oliver let go of my hand, he quickly returned to work. He condensed the lengthy speech into a few minutes of incisive translation, and I was completely captivated by his focused profile. After the meeting, I cornered him against the wall. "Senior brother, why did you hold my hand just now?" Oliver, seemingly lost in thought, suppressed his smile and looked somewhat embarrassed. "Chloe, I'm sorry." At that moment, I looked at him as if he were a heartbreaker. "Senior brother." I felt a bit aggrieved. My reaction caught Oliver off guard. "Chloe, it's my fault. I should have been more respectful. I'll keep my distance from now on." "What? I'd rather you hadn't answered." I was shouting inside but maintained my composure on the outside. "Senior brother, it's okay, I don't mind. Please don't be too respectful, Oliver." I felt we couldn't continue this conversation. I quickly took 2 steps back. "Goodbye, senior brother." I fled in distress. Back in my room, I called Mia. "Mia, I really like Oliver. How can I take things further with him?" "Pursue him. If you chase him hard enough, you'll have him." Mia cheered me on from the other end of the line. Time flew by, and the summit concluded successfully. At the celebration banquet, I entered the venue with Oliver, determined to confess again tonight. "If you like someone, you need to let them know. What if it actually works out?" "Senior brother." I stayed close to him, but every time I tried to speak, someone would interrupt. I was so frustrated that my cheeks puffed out. I saw Oliver, dressed in a fitted suit, surrounded by admiring women. To get to Oliver sooner, I drank whatever was offered, not refusing anyone. As a result, I got drunk before I could confess. In my haze, I thought, if I don't take action now, it will be too late. Wobbling in my high heels, I approached Oliver. "Senior brother." Oliver was surrounded by both partners and women. Summoning my courage, I said, "Oliver, I have something to tell you." Oliver, He probably didn't expect me to call him by his first name, since I had always called him senior brother since we met. But tonight, I didn't want to call him that. I knew my face was flushed and my eyes were definitely watery. Ignoring everything else, I gave him a silly smile. "Come a little closer." My appearance must have been irresistible. Oliver actually stepped closer to me, and then, I seized the moment, suddenly grabbing his hand and pulling him into my embrace. I don't know where I got the strength from, but emboldened, I stood on tiptoe and kissed him on the cheek. Everyone around was stunned. I smiled and felt incredibly elated. I saw Oliver's expression change, and his ears turned red. Oliver, Chloe, hey. Then the alcohol hit me, and I passed out. The next morning, I woke up in my room, with a blank mind and my phone ringing off the hook. I hurried to the hotel lobby, where everyone was preparing to leave. Oliver was dressed in casual clothes and carrying a suitcase. When he saw me, everyone burst into laughter. Oliver also saw me, and I noticed his expression was particularly awkward. Someone teased, "Chloe, you're something else." Haha. What happened? Oliver approached me, hesitating to speak. Someone else asked, "Chloe, are you going to take responsibility for Oliver?" Yeah. Who would have thought Chloe had the nerve to kiss Oliver in public and then ask him why he didn't open his mouth? Open his mouth. I've socially embarrassed myself again. Enough. Oliver suddenly spoke up. Oliver had never been this serious before. Everyone, including me, was startled. Tears welled up in my eyes, both from embarrassment and from being upset by Oliver's reaction. I lowered my head. "Senior brother, I'm sorry. It's okay. I was drunk and acted out of line. I won't drink again in the future." Oliver looked down at me. "You're not allowed to drink again." I nodded. "Sorry for causing you trouble." Oliver's grip on his suitcase tightened, and he gave me a look full of meaning. Then I heard him speak slowly, in a tone only the two of us could hear. "Yeah, it really did cause me trouble." Oliver placed a large hand on my shoulder and guided me outside, helping me into the car. His movements were restrained and maintained a gentlemanly distance. After I sat down, he turned to put my luggage away. Seeing all this, I felt extremely sad. I didn't regret kissing Oliver. I regretted not remembering what it tasted like. The return trip was quiet, and I fell asleep halfway. When I opened my eyes, I found myself leaning on Oliver's shoulder. Sunlight was casting a glow on his profile. His prominent nose was radiant, and his skin was as smooth as white jade. And he was looking at me. I quickly shrank back. "Senior brother, Oliver, HMM. His tone was very natural. How did I end up on Oliver's shoulder? I regret being so dazed again. Oliver didn't let me dwell on the issue and maintain distance, giving me no psychological burden throughout. The event was completely over, and I returned to the dorm with my luggage. Mia was doing yoga, and when she saw me, her face twisted into various expressions. "Chloe, you're back." I rushed over. "Wah." Mia's expressions and poses twisted further. "What are you doing?" She moved her little butt back 2 steps. "I'm heartbroken." Mia froze. After a thorough analysis by the relationship expert, Mia reached a conclusion. "Mia, you know, after spending time together, did the academic star fall for you? But he simultaneously has a huge misunderstanding." Mia knocked on my head. "Duh. Remember how we hugged in front of the second teaching building?" "I remember. So what?" Mia's eyes sparkled. "Let's rewind a bit. Suppose he recognized you that night at the bar." "No, he wouldn't." "Why not? How could such a clever academic star be fooled by a small trick?" "You mean?" Oliver saw through my disguise and recognized me. Mia stepped forward, took off my good girl glasses, and pulled off my hair tie. "Not only did he recognize you, but he also misunderstood your orientation." I was stunned, recalling every conversation with Oliver, then covered my face. "Whoa. I thought when senior brother told me to study hard, he meant not to fantasize about him, and when he told me to be mindful of my behavior in public, it meant I couldn't help but fart in front of him." I sat on Mia's yoga mat, writhing in agony, crying with a terribly ugly face. Mia said there was still hope. I nodded vigorously. We decided to put on a show in front of Oliver. At noon, Mia and I braved the blazing sun, lying in wait along Oliver's route to the dining area. I asked, "Mia, does this method work?" Mia patted her chest. "Guaranteed to work. Tonight, you'll be able to embrace the handsome man." All right, if I can have Oliver, I'm willing to do anything. As Oliver approached us, Mia and I began a dramatic performance. I got into character immediately. Me, in an exaggerated tone, Mia. Mia, even more exaggerated, oh, Chloe, let me go. I don't love you anymore. Me, vigorously shaking my head, I don't believe it. Mia, pushing me away, go away. Me, pretending to be pushed away, I staggered back 2 steps, and then I stopped right in front of Oliver, who was frowning at me and Mia. Then, Mia, the instigator, unceremoniously ran off. I was such an idiot. I stood there, staring at Oliver, at a loss. I had no choice but to weakly say, "Senior brother." Chloe. Oliver's voice was deep. I looked at Oliver, thinking maybe this was my last chance, and awkwardly recited my plan lines. "Senior brother, I'm so sad." Sob sob. My heart hurts. I need comfort. I want to drink. Oliver. Damn, I really wanted to give up right there. I stood frozen, so awkward I could scrape out a 3-bedroom apartment. Oliver was silent, took a couple of steps, and looked back at me. "Why aren't you leaving? Aren't you sad and want to drink?" My mood brightened immediately, and I hurriedly followed like a little wife. I walked behind Oliver, not noticing the smile he couldn't suppress. Oliver brought me to the entrance of his apartment. Before we went in, I was nervous. Senior brother, what's wrong? Don't you want to drink?" Yes, I want to drink, but with just the 2 of us in your place." Sob sob. "I'm not sure if I can handle it." I forced a smile that was even uglier than crying. "No, it's okay." I took 2 steps back, starting to back down. "I don't seem to be sad anymore. Senior brother, my heartache is healed." Hey, Oliver smiled. Then, I froze again as I saw him suddenly reach out to me, and I nervously closed my eyes. Oliver's warm hand landed on my shoulder, and I opened my eyes. "Come in, don't just stand there." He gently pulled me inside. My heart pounded uncontrollably. The door closed, and we were alone in the apartment. "Oliver, no women have been here before. You're the first." "Okay." I saw a gentle smile in Oliver's eyes, and it was all about me. At that moment, I was so excited I could barely contain myself. All thoughts of tactics and schemes were gone. All that mattered was that my best friend wasn't lying to me, and that this drama was worth it. As I was feeling triumphant, Oliver suddenly spoke. "Tell me, what's going on? Should I ask you, or will you explain yourself?" 5 minutes later, I was sitting on the sofa, like a student caught making a mistake, neck shrunk, waiting for Oliver's reprimand. I raised my hand. "Senior brother, here's the whole story." He responded coldly, I swear, I didn't intend to play tricks on you. It's just that the misunderstanding was too big and has affected." "Affected what?" "Affected I stammered, "our relationship." Oliver's eyes seemed to hold a calm depth. "Chloe, it turns out you've been thinking a lot in the corners where I couldn't see." I mentally nodded vigorously. "Of course. I even thought of names for our future children." Seeing me in a daze, Oliver smiled and flicked my forehead. "What are you thinking now?" "I'm thinking, how can I make you believe me?" He gently advised. "You can show me." I looked up abruptly, and found him gazing at me with deep eyes. Any way to prove it?" Oliver remained still, his handsome face showing a tempting indulgence. I looked at him and swallowed nervously. "Then I'll not be polite." I took the opportunity and kissed him directly. Oliver was caught off guard by my bold move. Freezing momentarily, he slowly lowered his head to look at me. With my moist eyes, I looked at him. "Senior brother, does this prove it?" Then, I saw Oliver's gaze darken. He suddenly took charge and pulled me up. Oliver pushed me down onto the sofa and kissed me. At that moment, a white flash went through my mind, and I was stunned. "What are you staring at? Open your mouth." Mom, help me, I'm done for." I was so stunned that I remained motionless while Oliver guided me. At that moment, I felt like I was electrocuted, my entire body stiff in affright. Oliver glanced at me with a growing smile. In my mind, I kept dying and coming back to life over and over again. In the end, I didn't even know how things ended with Oliver or how I ended up fleeing in panic. Back in the dorm, Mia banged on my head. Is that it? I nodded. Yeah. Didn't the study genius give you an explanation? I didn't dare ask Oliver for an explanation. I was afraid if I didn't run away, I might end up. Chloe, you're something else. I nodded inwardly, thinking, yeah, I'm the queen of trash talk. Honestly, I was too afraid to ask Oliver what our relationship was now. Oliver, why did you kiss me? Have you fallen for me? I was like a lovesick schoolgirl, lying on my bed with my head buried in the pillow, my ears sticking out and turning red. It was so embarrassing. After secretly crushing on Oliver for 4 years, I never imagined that one day I'd get to kiss him, and it would be initiated by Oliver himself. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Oliver calling, and my hands were trembling as I fumbled to answer. When I finally managed to pick up, I stayed silent, trying to maintain my composure. Oliver, Chloe. I replied coolly, HMM. Oliver chuckled on the other end. I'm downstairs at your dorm. Come out for a moment. I stammered, huh? Oliver's voice was gentle. I'm waiting for you. I hurried downstairs in slippers, and when I saw Oliver, my face turned red. Oliver's gaze towards me was somewhat affectionate. I nervously looked away, and then I heard Oliver ask, have you eaten? No. Perfect timing. Hey. I'll take you to dinner. Damn it. It was my first time going out to eat with Oliver, and he was dressed neatly in a shirt while I was in a t-shirt and slippers. I looked at the impeccably dressed Oliver across from me, and my nose was turning red from frustration. Oliver, what's wrong? Chloe, are you unhappy? I gave him a resentful look. If you had just kissed your crush of 4 years a few hours ago, and were now going out alone for the first time, dressed sloppily while your date looked impeccably stylish, would you be happy? I certainly wasn't. I looked sadly at Oliver, Sr. I saw Oliver slowly frown. Chloe. I was about to say something when Oliver's expression turned serious, still calling me Senior. If not Senior, then what should I call you? Oliver's voice deepened. I thought my intentions were clear enough. Something inside me was on the verge of coming out. Hey. Oliver looked at me with a bit of helplessness. Or Chloe, do you think I'm a very casual person? No, I've never thought that. Then why do you think I kissed you today? I was a bit excited inside, though I was afraid to imagine the answer, because I'm pretty. Oliver's serious expression gradually turned into a resigned smile, and then he couldn't help but laugh, because I've developed feelings for you. Maybe my stunned expression was too cute, so Oliver looked at me and said slowly, Chloe, because I've developed feelings for you. Aga. I hopped back to the dorm in my slippers. Can you understand the feeling of suddenly hitting the jackpot? After returning to the girls' dorm, I stood in front of him and said, Senior, from now on, call me Oliver. Hey. Or, you can call me your boyfriend. My heart was pounding, and I kept my head down. Oh my God, has Oliver really become my boyfriend? He's really my boyfriend now. I cautiously reached out and lightly touched him. Oliver immediately took my hand. Our fingers intertwined. He said, from now on, do whatever you want to me directly. No need to sneak around. My face turned red immediately. Really. I moved closer to him, letting him lean against the tree trunk, and I stood on tiptoe. How about this? Then, I saw his eyes darken, and in that moment, I mustered the courage to kiss him. I deliberately asked, Oliver, HMM. His voice was slightly husky. I looked down and poked my pinky. You said I can do whatever I want with you. Does that mean anything goes? What do you want to do? I was shy, guess. Oliver's eyes widened in surprise, and he visibly blushed. Of course, I didn't get what I wanted. Seeing Oliver's slightly awkward expression, I laughed and ran away. Before going upstairs, I waved at Oliver, boyfriend, goodbye. Oliver laughed at my antics. After secretly crushing on Oliver for 4 years, I had never seen him smile so happily. I felt sweet inside, thinking, Oliver really likes me a lot, doesn't he? It turns out that dating a study genius comes with its pressures. In the first week of being with Oliver, a photo of us walking together was posted by a busybody on social media. Whoa! Study genius and campus heartthrob Oliver has a girlfriend. and she's a graduate student from the translation department. The photo showed Oliver in a clean white shirt, and me in a professional suit with clunky glasses. Everyone in the comments was lamenting, heartbroken. The campus heartthrob has been taken by a pig. Some even said, that girl looks so old-fashioned. Inside, I thought, are you polite? When I heard these rumors, I was curled up in Oliver's arms. Senior, they say I'm not good enough for you. Looking into Oliver's deep eyes, I corrected myself, boyfriend. Oliver finally smiled, and acknowledged me. Don't pay attention to those rumors. But I was really angry. Then, while I was seriously upset, Oliver suddenly reached out and took off my glasses. I was stunned, staring at him. And then, Oliver didn't stop there. He also removed my hair tie. Me. Oliver smiled as he adjusted my hair, tucking the strands behind my ear. You look great like this, Oliver said gently. I looked at Oliver, my heart racing. While Oliver's face was full of smiles, I gently nestled closer to him, and Oliver held my shoulders. Don't overthink things. How did you know? Then, Oliver blushed. I smiled. Ha ha ha. Later, I asked Oliver, when did you start liking me? Oliver thought for a moment. At the conference. That late. Oliver, yeah. Under my persistent questioning, Oliver finally confessed with a smile. Yeah, I actually knew you had been secretly in love with me for a long time. And then, I was super excited. Oliver smiled and stayed silent. So, the last time you agreed to go out with me, was it because you guessed I was going to confess? Oliver, yeah. Then did you agree to the date because you wanted to accept me? No, I agreed to the date to reject you. Me. Old man in the subway looking at his phone. JPG. Oliver laughed softly, looking at me with affection, but I didn't expect you to be so bold. Letting out a fart and then crying, and leaving. I covered my face in sadness. Is this still not over? I asked Oliver what he liked about me. Oliver replied, he liked my dedication and perseverance. Before the peak forum, he thought I was careless, and a bit of a troublemaker. But he had misunderstood me all these years. He was surprised to find that I not only prepared in advance but also remained calm and professional, being meticulous. From that moment on, he admired me genuinely. Chloe. Oliver hugged me, his gaze gentle and serious. You put in so much effort at work, always cheerful even when you're exhausted. Sometimes, even when your acting is clumsy, you still try to be sweet, especially the way you look at me, with so much love in your eyes. I nervously covered my face. Is it that obvious? Yes, when I was shy and couldn't look at him. He continued, every time I'm particularly tired, seeing you makes it all better. Your simple words can make me feel at ease. Chloe, your smile moves my heart. Listening to Oliver's confession, tears were welling up in my eyes. Who knew Oliver would continue? You also remind me of a girl I met before. What? Am I so insignificant in Oliver's eyes, that he still recalls his previous crush? Oliver looked at me with a gaze that said, where did your mind wander to now? Full of affection, I had no choice but to listen seriously. 4 years ago, after the conference that made me famous, I met a girl with a ponytail outside. She was talking to the air. What did she say? She said, hello, Senior Oliver, I'm your little fan. You were so handsome at the conference. How does your brain work to translate things so well? I admire you so much. I'll cheer for you forever. Oliver, go for it. Then she even wiggled her little waist. Oliver finished with a laugh. I stared at Oliver, who usually had a calm demeanor, but now had a broad smile in his eyes. I covered my mouth, stunned. Oliver didn't notice my surprise, and continued, at that time, I was exhausted and just wanted to find a place to be alone. But that scene healed me. From that moment, I knew what kind of girl I would like in the future. I was still processing the surprise when he added, so I've been selective all these years, until I met you. Oliver, Did you see that girl's face? No. Why? I lifted my hand to cover my blushing face, not wanting to be seen. Finally, I weakly said, that person was me. We ended our conversation in a friendly and confused atmosphere. Our final expressions were, me, covering my face, whimpering, Oliver. That night, I had dinner at Oliver's place. He had prepared a whole table of dishes. After I finished eating absent-mindedly, I told Oliver, I'll head back now. Oliver suddenly took my hand. Chloe, stay tonight. I widened my eyes. Then, Oliver cornered me against the wall, and I saw a different look in his eyes. He said solemnly, I've been processing the information from today, and it's only now sinking in. What? The girl from 4 years ago, was that really you? I hesitated, then shyly nodded. Well, I had to admit it eventually, yes. I didn't expect that after so long, Oliver would still remember what I said back then. At that time, I was also blinded by your beauty, thinking how handsome you were. I wanted to cheer you on, but felt embarrassed. So I practiced secretly outside. Then why didn't you find me, and say it directly? Oliver leaned in slowly, inching closer to me. We were very close, surrounded by his unique scent. I gently breathed. I thought it was too silly, so I changed my approach. Worked hard to get into your school and department, and became your junior. So that's it. I nodded frantically, but I didn't expect that avoiding a public embarrassment 4 years ago would lead to a similar situation. Stumbling in the same person. That night, Oliver led me into his room. I only remember Oliver turning off the lights and whispering in my ear, how did you twist your waist that day? Do you remember? He laughed and said we should try again. It was too embarrassing, and I didn't want to recall it. For the first time, I realized how Oliver's deep and steady voice, during the conference could be so enchanting in private. 6 months later, Oliver and I moved in together. When we moved from the dorm to Oliver's apartment, Mia dragged me to a corner. Chloe, I'm really going to miss you. I was on high alert. Mia, what new scheme do you have? Mia smiled. Of course not. I just wanted to give you a housewarming gift. She then shoved a bundle of things into my hands. I looked down and was shocked. Mia, black lace. You have fair skin. It will look great on you. Me. I looked around, hoping to quickly return it while no one was looking. But then I saw Oliver helping me move books. I was no longer angry. Oliver had already gotten used to my and Mia's antics over the past 6 months, glanced at the bundle, and didn't say a word. Since it's a gift, just accept it. I know. Oliver, hear me out. I've been much more restrained in these 6 months. Mia was triumphant, looking like she was enjoying the show, and mouthed, explain well tonight. Ha ha ha. As I passed her, I gave her a swat on the butt. Mia, Chloe. I made a face at her. Come chase me, catch me and I'll let you he. We started making a commotion downstairs, our laughter filling the garden. Oliver, holding a book, looked back at us and smiled gently. Chloe. I immediately stood at attention, straightening up. Yes. On our 1-year anniversary, Oliver asked, are you free this weekend? How about having a meal with both our parents, so they can meet? Oliver ruffled my hair, pressing on. What, don't you want me to meet your parents? It's not that, but isn't it a bit early? I'm afraid it might shock my parents, because being with Oliver felt so unreal, or rather, I was afraid they might be too excited. I hadn't told my family yet. Seeing Oliver's serious face, I had no choice but to agree. Okay, Oliver emphasized. Chloe, when we have dinner with both our parents, mine will also come. I looked up at him. Meeting Oliver's parents made me even more nervous. Okay, I hadn't met Oliver's parents yet, only talked a few times over the phone due to them not being in the city. The time came for our parents to meet. Oliver thoughtfully chose a high-end restaurant by the river. In the private room, my parents were seated on the left, while Oliver's parents were on the right. This was the first time I had experienced such a scene. I was wearing a smoky pink dress with my hair up, and I looked particularly artsy. Oliver, on the other hand, was dressed in a light gray shirt, which made him look refined and graceful in all his movements. Once my parents sat down, they kept staring at Oliver. I heard my mom quietly ask my dad, where did Chloe find such a catch? Why would this young man be interested in our daughter? My rough around the edges dad, who works in real estate, slapped his thigh and said, he must be blind. Oliver's parents. I glanced at my parents anxiously. then calmly turned to Oliver's parents and said, "Hello, Uncle and Auntie, I'm Chloe, Oliver's dad." A professor at a well-known university in Beijing nodded kindly at me. Oliver's mom had a particularly elegant demeanor and said happily, "We've talked on the phone a few times, and now we finally meet." I shyly replied, I formally introduced them. "These are my parents." The two families, four parents sitting together, clearly had a very different vibe, with one group animated and the other composed. After the introductions, Oliver's dad spoke. "Hello, in-laws." I looked at Oliver. Oliver smiled brightly. Then I heard Oliver's mom say, "Oliver told us that today the two families would discuss the wedding. So, in-laws, how much is the dowry on your side? Would 2 apartments for Chloe be enough?" Wait, am I still dreaming? Why is the first meeting of both parents turning into a discussion about marriage, and such a generous offer? My dad, astonished, said, "Oh no, that's too much. We only ask for 88,000 as customary. This is Oliver's own property. He wants to show his intentions towards Chloe," Oliver's mom said with a smile. At that moment, my heart melted. Oliver had never asked about what my parents did, and I had never told him. And then my dad let it slip. "In-laws, you're very sincere. To be honest, I'm in real estate too and have prepared a bit of a dowry for Chloe. To prove that we're not selling our daughter, I'll add 2 large apartments in the city center as part of the dowry." Afterwards, the 4 parents, having reached a high degree of mutual understanding, happily discussed our wedding plans. They talked about when to get the marriage certificate, when to hold the wedding, and when to have children. Seeing the topic drifting, I quickly tugged at Oliver's sleeve. "Oliver." Oliver smiled, lowered his head, and affectionately whispered in my ear, "What exactly do you want to do? Marry you and bring you home the day after the family dinner?" I don't know what Oliver said to my parents, but early in the morning, my dad delivered our household registration book to the building where Oliver and I live. "You need to go get the certificate with Oliver today." "Dad, what's with that? My daughter's just given away another family's treasure," expression. Under my dad's coercion, Oliver and I went to the Civil Affairs Bureau. All right, I was actually excited too. To show that I was calm, and not eager to get married, I posed for the registration photo with Oliver. After receiving the marriage certificate, I kept stroking the cover with the words, "Marriage certificate," and couldn't help but smile. I looked at Oliver and said, "He. Oliver." I took the initiative to hold Oliver's hand and said, "Let's go home." The high and mighty figure of the translation world had finally come to our home. Once we got home, I revealed my true self and pushed Oliver against the wall for a wall kiss. Oliver looked at me with a mix of helplessness and affection. "Chloe," his voice was husky, "are you upset that I tricked you into marrying me early?" "No," I said, "really." I tiptoed and lightly kissed him. "Oliver, I just want to keep you safe and sound." Our wedding was set for spring when the flowers bloom. The wedding featured a blue and white theme, pure and romantic. Wearing my wedding dress and holding my dad's hand, I walked up to Oliver. I saw surprise and unease in his eyes. For him, this was the most important moment of his life. And for me, too. When no one was looking, I whispered to him, "Oliver, are you more nervous than simultaneous interpreting?" "Yes, more nervous than hosting an international conference." "Me too. I'll give you a mysterious gift later," Oliver said with a smile. "What gift?" I asked eagerly. Then, I heard the wedding music switch to a popular dance track. The entire venue went wild. Mia was the most excited, dancing away. "Oliver." I saw Oliver smiling at me. Then he joined the rhythm. His 5 groomsmen also came on stage, giving a unique performance. Oliver took my hand and said, "Chloe, let's dance together." With a smile and tears in my eyes, I lifted my wedding dress and danced with Oliver. It was my favorite dance lately, a bit cute and a bit funny. Our couple dance drew louder and louder cheers from the audience. At this wedding, the school leaders and professors came, and so both of us, known for being top students, had our personas shattered. Amidst the noise, I held Oliver's hand and shouted, "Oliver, I really like you." He said, "Chloe, I do too." After the wedding, We said goodbye to the guests, and he took me to one of the houses given as dowry. It was a penthouse with a terrace leading to the roof. We lay there together, stargazing. Oliver's eyes were filled with deep emotion, as he said in a beautifully soothing voice, "Chloe, you are the breeze of summer, the stars of March, a treasure bestowed by fate, a warm firefly I have pursued all my life." I applauded with excitement and looked at him with adoring eyes. Wonderful, wonderful. Chloe, do you have anything else to say? I hesitated. How about I dance for you tonight? This story is complete. Feel free to subscribe to the channel for the latest updates. Many novels are updated daily.